right. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the live Nikki Maduro show. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your patience and for being here today. And happy early Mother's Day to all the moms and to my friend Kim
Hey.
McAllister. How are you,
Happy
my friend?
Mother's Day to you too, almost.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm
almost.
good. Almost. Yeah, a lot of mom stories making the news lately.
Absolutely. There's a lot of mom stories. But before we get to all of that, you guys, please click the thumbs up button, show your support for the show. It helps us out. And make sure you're subscribed and you hit that bell so you don't miss a moment. I feel like I gave a lot of you warning that today's was going to be a live show. So hopefully, because we know that the change has been a bit of an adjustment for a lot of you and us as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you to everybody for being here. And we'll continue to do these live shows as our schedules
Hmm.
allow. Okay, so it is Mother's Day. Coming up in a few moments, I'm going to play you the interview I did with the moms from Beyond Your Wildest Dreams.
Mm,
I'm having my coffee. Can you hear me now? Okay.
there you go.
So Beyond Your Wildest Dreams, and it's kind of the debate over Mother's Day. And even if you're not a mom, even if you don't necessarily have your mom in your life,
Hmm.
here's the question I want you guys to mull, and we'll get to your comments as well. And we'll throw up your comments. We're going to be live throughout the whole interview. Who should now? Obviously, there's the answer. All moms should be celebrated on Mother's Day. Okay,
Yeah.
but here's my question, because this debate has been going on online. Is it more important to kind of treat or pamper the moms in the trenches, babies, new moms, kind of toddlers? Like, it's different being, it's not any easier being a mom of a teenager or tween, believe me. But, it's not getting only 2 hours of sleep a night also. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then what about older moms? Moms who are the mother of adults, like my mom, who's
Hmm.
not spending Mother's Day here. She's in South Africa right now and having the life with my dad. Um, you know, should we focus on those moms at the same intensity, let's say, as newer moms or moms that still have kids under their roof? Like, who should get pampered? Who should have to host? Because that's the other thing that I want you guys to think about, because hosting Mother's Day can be a whole thing. And what happened in your home? So before we get to the interview, what is your plan, Kim McAllister, on this month?
We were going out for brunch, which just got canceled because of whatever happened at the restaurant. But so usually we go to a winery, we have a picnic.
Oh,
There's no
whole family.
hosting of Mother's Day. Whole family goes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And
But
that's normal. That's what you normally do.
that's a normal thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like some people think it's a day to take some me time,
Yeah.
and other people think it's a day to be with your kids and celebrate that.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, I think it's whatever floats your boat, whatever you want to do if you're a mom or someone who cares for children or what have you. And
Yeah.
then some people don't have a good relationship with their mom, so they're not going to
Yeah.
celebrate in the same way.
Exactly.
It's fine. I mean, it's
Happy Mexican Mother's Day. I didn't know this. Lori's teaching us. Most of my
oh,
students will make cards for May 10th. Thank you for
awesome.
letting us know. I did not even know that.
Yeah,
Chris says my kindergarten was 80% Mexican all the way to high school. I never knew there was a different day for them. Interesting. I did not
interesting. Yeah,
either. And Harry says all moms deserve pampering, whether they're in the trenches or have paid their dues.
yeah, it's
I
true.
I do agree. I think
Hmm.
where the rub can come, and again, we'll talk about this more with the Beyond Your Wildest Dreams moms. It's hosting that I think is the issue, right? So if,
No.
for instance, I will share, I don't want to spoil it now, but I will share and get into it more what I do on my Mother's Day. But let me just say this. If my mom and mother-in-law were coming to my house, I love them to death. I don't know if I'd be able to relax as
No.
much.
Mm-mm.
Even if my husband took care of everything, or my father, like, even if my dad, my father-in-law, and my husband were taking care of everything, I would still feel like I was hosting, right? Like I
Right.
was doing something. Oh, well, let's make sure the house is clean. Even the mental aspect of it would be a
Hmm.
bit much. So that's why I think the debate is actually happening, is because people are saying, like, look, if you are inviting people over to a mom's house, then they're going to feel like they have to host in a little bit.
No,
So
no. There
it's a
should be
little
no
hard.
there should be no Mother's Day hosting.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
no, I fully
No.
subscribe to that. Mother's Day, I get two things, and I'll spoil this much. I get whatever I want to do with my day, and at
Yeah.
the end of the day, I get the remote, and nobody can bitch and moan about what's on the
And that's it.
television. Like I get to watch whatever I want, and that's
Yeah.
it. Like I don't, we don't. Oh, I don't want to watch this. No, no, I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to hear whining. I don't want to hear any of it. Like, not at all. The remote is mine. All right. Well, let me know in the comments what you guys are doing. If you want to shout out your mom, we'll throw it up on the screen as well. Just put it in the comments and we'll save it. But here's my interview with the moms from Beyond Your Wildest Dreams. Okay, so Mother's Day is around the corner, and we know that there's a lot of things that can surround holidays like Mother's Day or even Father's Day or Grandparents' Day or whatever. But we're talking moms today. We are talking moms. And so I wanted to bring on two moms that we've had on the show before, Allegra and Natasha. You'll know them from beyondyourwildestdreams.com. There's their website right on the screen. First off, for happy early Mother's Day and happy birthday, Allegra. I hear you're turning the big 50. So that's right around the corner for me. So happy birthday.
Thank
Right
you.
around the corner
Thank
for me
you.
too.
Yes, it's been fun. Lots
Yeah.
of celebrating.
That is a big one, and congratulations on reaching it. That's a milestone that
I know.
just
I'm
not
alive.
exactly. There are so many people I know that's like and it's a little dark, but it's not. I've lived longer than my parents have, or somebody important in my life. So happy birthday! I'm so glad that you're taking a little bit of time to come on the Nikki Maduro show. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and that bell to make sure you don't miss any of these types of conversations, because we're gonna have a good one today since it is about Mother's Day. So you guys like to talk and help people on your website and through your work of helping with parental burnout. And I don't know about your households or the people listening's households. My husband helps a lot, right? But there is always going to be this kind of invisible load that often falls on the mom if she's kind of in that heteronormative relationship in her household. And so Mother's Day is supposed to be her day. And that again can bring a lot of pressure and disappointment sometimes. So I guess my first question is, how has Mother's Day been in each of your households or in your lives?
So for me, Nikki, I live in Los Angeles, and both of our mothers are local.
Oh, that's
So
so nice. Mine too. Mine are
it,
local as
it is
well.
nice. It is nice, except that it means that every Mother's Day I am a mother and a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And also my grandmother also now lives with my mom. So there's my grandmother, my mom, my mother-in-law,
Wow.
me, 4 moms. And the only people here to celebrate Mother's Day with are my husband and my daughter. So they're outnumbered 2-1.
Okay.
And so because of that, I've always felt like I had to pitch in on Mother's Day because
Mm.
we have these other mothers. I'm sandwich generation. And last year, my daughter was 13. And I said to my husband, I have never had a Mother's Day all to myself. And I'm the only one actively raising children. And
Yeah.
not just that, but our mothers are retired. So
Right.
I want this Mother's Day all to myself. And I had to think about it for a little bit because I did feel guilty about it
Yeah, of course.
before I raised this to my partner. But I said, you know what? I'm the only one actively raising a child. I want a Mother's Day to myself. And he said, okay, well, are you going to let our moms know?
He's like,
How
you're
do you
going to
take
tell
care
them,
of
right?
that?
Yeah. He's like, you're going to tell them.
So I did. I said, hey, moms, all this time I've been a daughter and a mother. I'm the only one actively raising a child right now. And I'd really like Mother's Day all to myself. And they understood once I
Right.
said it to them.
Yeah.
And it filled me up so much that this year we're back to doing Mother's Day all together.
Interesting.
I'm so glad I took that because otherwise, I know as a mom, it's really easy to slide into resentment when you're putting yourself last. So I sidetracked resentment and I needed to do it. And I know some people might say that sounds selfish. You know what? It was what I needed to feel taken care of. And
Yeah. That's
I'm
it.
so
And
happy I did.
Natasha, what do you guys do?
Well, last year and this year, my husband combined forces with another family. So
Oh.
he kind of like is divvying up the work. They have a lovely, like garden-like backyard. And so it's kind of like the dads and the kids pitch in, and me and this other mom, we get to be pampered in the backyard. We just sit
Oh,
out there. They bring us our brunch, they take it away. And she and I, so it fulfills my like my need to have like, I love social interaction. I'm definitely an extrovert. And so I get to have that, but also she and I get to really like, they keep the kids away from us. Like it's so funny because my husband and I always laugh. He's like, why is Father's Day always like, let's do stuff as a family? And Mother's Day is like, keep the kids away from me.
exactly.
I'm like, well, because I get a lot more time with them than you. And so, so there's pampering in that regard. Like, so they, we've had like strawberry, chocolate dipped strawberries, and like, they kind of pamper us in that regard. And we get to like, and so he's divvied it up. So,
That's
so that
nice.
it's not entirely on his shoulders. And he gets to actually hang and have some bro time, and the kids get to have like playtime too, and we get to be in this really idyllic, beautiful setting, and she and I get to have some like one-on-one time. She's a really lovely mom that I get to hang out with, and we still get to feel pampered. And I want to say the number one thing that I learned over time, because of course your first Mother's Day, you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm a mom, it's my first Mother's Day, and of course it's an infant and all of that kind of thing. But over time I realized, oh, it's so fun to have breakfast in bed, but I'm the one cleaning up the dishes at the end of the day, right? And that kind of thing. And that's one of the things that Allegra and I were like, to really ask for what you need and recognize and ask for, saying, hey, love that you guys made dinner for me, but let's also make sure that includes
Cleaning it up.
You guys cleaning up too. So our number one thing really is to find a way, and Allegra just spoke about it too, to ask for what you need. Like, don't be afraid to ask for what you need. It doesn't have to be some magical thing where like, you didn't ask for everything, that everything is a surprise and they've come up with. It's really okay to say, hey, this Mother's Day, can we skip the brunch at the, at the huge place that's just crazy packed with, all these reservations, where you can, or if you're into that, that's cool too, but to really ask for what you need. And you don't have to do what hasn't been working just because you've been doing it because it's been like a tradition or so forth.
Yeah. And so like I have two kids. They're almost 13 and 15 right now, but I would say for at least 8 years, I've had a tradition kind of similar to what you do, Natasha. I have one of my best friends, and we've included other friends before. Like, it's kind of open, but we always wake up. Then I can get some love from my family. I'm not much of a breakfast person, so they can make it or not. And then we go out to lunch together. And it doesn't have to be fancy. Like, we can go to like Chili's, and we just Uber there and get drunk, and we just drink. And I go, and my mom and my mother-in-law, who again are in this, like, they're miles away from my house, very, very close. My mom totally gets it. And what I do with my mom is usually the Saturday before I go, hey, let's go out to lunch. It's not as busy. I mean, sometimes it is, but it's not as busy. We get one-on-one time. I still want to be the daughter to my mother, but she's like, my mom, I've been blessed with, and I love you, Mom. She gets it. She's like, it is your day. Do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Now she has my dad, so it's not like she's not getting pampered or whatever. If she was alone, I probably would feel a little bit more, but I bet I'd still do the same thing. Let's go out Saturday. That way Sunday is mine. And then I come home. My husband usually makes me a bomb dinner. He cleans it up. He knows that rule.
Yeah.
And then the remote is mine. The whole thing is I get the remote.
You're the remote.
I get to watch whatever I want. No one can ask me for it. I don't have to do anything. And that's my love for Mother's Day. And it's glorious.
Yes.
So
well, and
glorious.
what I love what I love that you mentioned too is that Mother's Day can be any time. I mean, it can be any time of the year, but you could celebrate any time in May. Like that Sunday is so crazy. And also too, like, maybe you don't like going out to brunch. Like, for instance, one thing that we did with our mothers for Mother's Day was we toured a design house. They pick a house and like all the interior designers fix up the rooms, and then they sell tickets to tour it, and that money goes to charity. And so a lot of times these events are happening kind of in the May period. And so I said to our moms, like, hey, for Mother's Day this year, how about we get you tickets to the design house and we all go do that? Perfect. It wasn't on Mother's Day, but we were celebrating our mothers doing something they wanted to do. So you can make it whatever you want. It doesn't have to be on that day.
Right.
And asking for what you want. And I really do think that for moms, it is kind of like, take the kids away, have fun. Like, let's have love. Have some love and kisses, and then bye.
And then bye. I see you every day. Like if
Right.
now, what kind of advice do you ladies have for people that maybe have a different situation? What about single moms where they don't have somebody that's just going to take their kids away, or people that maybe sadly have lost their mom or don't have a relationship with their mom? Like that has to also be something that could really put a lot of pressure on them.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, we all have a lot of single mom friends. Some I have some are single moms by choice, and some are single moms not by choice. And one thing that I've seen some single moms do is where they partner up with other single moms to either kind of do something like what Natasha mentioned, where they partner up and, the kids are doing a play. Because if you have a play date set up and the kids really like each other, it's almost like they're being babysat. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's easier with more to play.
Exactly.
100%.
They go do their own thing and you all celebrate each other. Or you could do a trade-off. You could say, hey, will you take my kid this weekend? I'm going to have some time to myself and I'll do it for you. Looking outside, it takes a village, as they say. And so looking outside for your village by choice, if you will. I have some women in my life who are older, who are kind of like aunties by choice or co-grandmothers by choice. And so that's another place where you can spend time with people, because sometimes your birth family is not necessarily the people that you get along with best.
Right.
And so I do have some, my one of my grandmothers has really severe dementia, is bedridden. So she can't really do things. And then my other grandmother, I've never known her. She passed. So I do have two women in my life who are kind of like surrogate grandmothers. They know it. I call them my surrogate grandmothers, and we'll do things. I invite them to things. They come to things that I do because my grandmothers are no longer able to. So it's good to find family by choice in that way.
Exactly.
Another tip that I have because some like my husband loves to surprise me with things, but he doesn't always have ideas of his own. And so one thing that I do for him every year is I come up with a list of date night
ideas
and gift ideas. And I put a dollar sign. I put a dollar sign next to everything for every $25.
Okay.
And I'm like, look, any of these things will make me happy. Pick whatever you want. And there's enough on here that we never get through them all in a year. But some of them are, some of them are a puzzle and a meal. Like I love working on a puzzle. He's not into puzzles. So for him to give me a night of doing a puzzle and a meal, like that's a real gift for me. And that costs, nothing, all the way up to, a hot air balloon ride or soap from this one soap place that I just love. And
that's
I
nice.
never. Yeah. So, this is the way they get to surprise you, and you get to have a guarantee that you're going to like the thing that they give you.
I mean, are there really any Mother's Day gifts that you want? Like, is there anything like, I really wish I would have gotten that on Mother's Day that you can buy at a store? Because honestly, for me, it's just, and I love my family, but like, let me be. Like, wrap myself in a bow and walk out the door. I'm like, bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
That's my gift. 100%. Yeah. I have a friend who every Mother's Day, her husband books her a room somewhere and she goes to a hotel and she orders room service. And
that's what I want to try.
That's her thing. Like you really are.
Kudos to that mom.
Seriously. Like she just, every Mother's Day that she's going to be in a local hotel that's lovely, has great room service. And she's got that remote, like you said, and she gets to like really just completely unplug, and just she loves it. It's great.
Awesome.
I was like, that's genius, honey.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that you guys actually have something coming up. It's in July, but it could be a perfect Mother's Day gift for people that want to give something besides just the day to people. And what is that?
Yeah, so we were thinking about Mother's Day events because we wanted to do a Mother's Day event, but we're like, God, there's so much happening for moms in May between Mother's Day and then all of your parental duties because of the end of school year. Like I know it's like, award season for track, and then she has her own recitals and stuff like that. So we decided to do our event in July because I don't know if you're aware, Nikki, but July is National Rebuild Your Life Month.
Oh, I did not know that. I like that. Okay.
Yes. And we know that when you have a kid in that 0 to 5 range, when you're coming out of that 5-year-old age, you're like, who am I? What do I want in life? Like you have to rebuild your life a little bit after 5, right? It's like you have new friends, new priorities, everything.
Going to school, doing all those sorts of things. Yeah.
All of it.
Exactly. So in honor of Rebuild Your Life Month and National Parents Day, we are hosting Mama's Self-Love Boot Camp, July 28th, and it's a half-day virtual event, and it's all about self-discovery, self-care, and of course, self-love.
Love.
I love
Yeah.
it. Awesome.
And
And go ahead.
we don't want people to be sitting behind their desks when they're doing this event. We're encouraging people to be on your mobile device because we're going to have a Polynesia dancer come in and teach us self-love hip movements that help to release trauma. We're going to have a crafting expert teaching us to use art for self-discovery. So it's going to be very fun, very interactive, and just a day for yourself. And it's only $49.
Okay.
So it's a great gift either for you as a mother or if you want to gift it to someone who's a mother. And we have an early bird special discount, which is EB50OFF. So early bird 50 off, EB50OFF.
Yeah, and that gives you half off. We have also a body love coach who's going to, just talk about loving and accepting yourself exactly as you are. So we were thinking about how would we craft this day, and we were like, we definitely don't want to do it on Mother's Day, right? Like,
No.
It's not about like doing more on Mother's Day, but really having a chance to take some time for yourself to go ahead and improve your relationship with yourself, and it really is about, self-love. I love the boot camp idea where it's just kind of like, listen, we're going to be talking. It's about you,
Right.
all you. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
because we know how hard it is. Like you're so involved helping to keep another human being alive that I felt guilt. I remember feeling the guilt about taking time for myself, but you can't give when you're depleted, right? In our culture, we sacrifice ourselves on the altars of our family, and then we end up dead and burnt out.
Exactly.
But if you are filled up, then you can give from the overflow. And that's really what Mama's Self-Love Bootcamp is all about. It's about filling yourself up so that you have some tools, some quick win strategies for making sure you're always full so that you can give from that place of abundance.
I love it. So it's mamaselflovebootcamp.com. If you want 50% off, it's early bird EB50 off. And it's right there, EB50 off, and you can get 50% off there. And of course, I mean, you guys come out a bunch of books. We called it the bouquet of books. Here, I'm going to throw them up on the screen.
Oh,
3, 2, 1, done. I know. I had to put them all together for people to get an idea of all the work you guys did. Rock your morning, rock your mission, rock your holidays, and Mother's Day counts as a holiday. These are all available, of course, on your guys' website. I just really love the work that you guys do and really getting, especially moms and women, to just focus a bit on themselves. And it takes, again, a little bit of work can make a huge difference in people's lives with the planning. And so I love those books. Let me throw them up again. I mean, they really do help you kind of organize the chaos that is.
And I also just want to say too, that the modeling that you do as a parent who is taking care of themselves and asking for what they want, it makes a difference for the next generation. Like,
absolutely,
my daughter speaks up for herself way more than I did at her age. And Natasha's sons are so thoughtful and giving and aware that, hey, women have opinions too. Like it's really about trickling down to the next generation too.
I love that.
And so I love that you put up all our books, and I would just want to say that it's so much less about doing as much as more so much about mindset, right? It's really about shifting into being okay with knowing that you can ask for what you want. Knowing that prioritizing yourself is actually the best thing for everyone. These so it's not just about like, here's how to do more and more and more and more and be more productive and do more for the holidays it really is about like shifting things, so that you really are in a place of recognizing that you deserve to ask for what you want, knowing that it's okay to prioritize yourself, knowing that it's also okay, like that self-love is almost even a radical concept where, it's that self-love is not selfish.
No.
Self-care is not selfish. Yeah. So it's really more about mindset and changing that perspective.
And it's so true because I mean, again, I always think to myself in a year or 5 years, is what I'm stressing about right now really truly going to matter? Do I have to go to every single invitation that I've been given, or does the house have to be clean? I would love for the house. I mean, there is chaos happening of
I feel
laundry
you.
behind this divider.
Why?
And it's always my fear that this thing's gonna fall down. I'm like,
Our
don't look
greatest
behind the screen. But I guess
Right.
it did. It's like, okay, it did. Everyone I know has piles of laundry that need to be done and folded and put away. I mean, unless you're not that type of person, which more power to you. I'm not. So
Right.
it's
Right.
one of those things as moms, especially, we have to accept about and love about ourselves because we're just human and we can't do it all and we shouldn't have to. So I just really
I
love
mean,
coming on. That's
the
awesome.
reason Natasha and I picked these backgrounds and these tops is so that we can make it easy for ourselves to show up, you know?
Yes, exactly. Whatever
Mhm.
you can do to make it easier. I've really toyed with the idea of only wearing one outfit to work every day, but I'm not there yet, but I might be because it's not that big of a deal and men do it too. So why not, you know?
Right.
Yes.
100%. Yeah.
All right,
Yep.
you guys. So again, go check out their boot camp. It's the perfect Mother's Day gift. MamaSelfLoveBootCamp.com. If you want 50% off, get the early bird special, EB as an early bird, 50OFF. You get 50% off. So just go to that website. Again, MamaSelfLoveBootCamp.com. It's the perfect gift. Give moms what they want, which is often just nothing.
Right?
Time for
Nothing. Just
ourselves.
to do
Seriously.
nothing. Do nothing.
Do nothing.
Natasha and Allegra, I always appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you so much. Happy birthday, Allegra, and happy Mother's Day to both of you.
Happy
Thank
Mother's Day
you.
to you.
All right, there we go. I love having them on. They are too much fun. So happy Mother's Day to everybody. And thank you guys for the comments. I do want to go over some of the interesting comments during that interview. Let's start with SJ Lola. She said, my husband is taking me to breakfast. We'll stop at my mom's after to bring her flowers and do a few household things for her. Then we're hosting our adult son and his wife and their baby.
Yeah.
Now, if I wasn't a new grandma, that's what I would want. Bring me the baby,
Bring me the
right?
baby, yeah.
Bring me the baby. Different stages of motherhood. When I had my kids young, you know, we had moms over. They wanted to see the baby. That's what they wanted to do. Took them off my hands. Debbie says, what about soon to be mothers? My daughter-in-law, I believe, feels she too should be celebrated.
No.
What do you think? I don't think so. Like,
No.
you're going to be a mom.
You're a
You know,
soon-to-be mom.
That is the easiest. That is the
mean-
easiest way to be a mom, is when they're
Yeah.
inside your body. They eat everything. They go to sleep when you want them to. Right? It's like, okay. I wouldn't celebrate Mother's Day yet, because once you have the baby, then you get your first Mother's Day.
They gave me, when I was pregnant on Mother's Day, my mom and sister gave me a book about being a mom, and they gave me a card, and they were really excited for me, and that was nice.
Right.
But it's not until you have the baby
Yes.
that you usually have your first Mother's Day.
Exactly. That's your first Mother's Day.
Yeah. Even though I would argue that from the moment you know you're pregnant, you
Yeah.
start making choices that make you
Of
a mom.
course. Of
Yeah.
course, because you want to have a healthy baby.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Yeah.
Eric says, I have my son this weekend and my ex has not asked to take him for Mother's Day, but I'll be sure to have him call her and maybe his grandma too. That's an interesting dynamic. I know so many people that are in that dynamic where, and this is another interesting one. So your ex is remarried to another woman who is helping raise your children, and maybe for a very long time. Like, who gets the kids on Mother's Day? Is it the biological mother that always, if you split weekends and things like that, or do you have to
Yes.
split it? Like, that's what
Don't
I
you
would
think?
say.
Yes,
That's what I would say, but I'm not a
absolutely.
stepmom. And maybe I've raised this child. Who knows when they got divorced? What if I've been raising this child since they were yay
Yeah.
high? Do I not ever get to celebrate Mother's Day with the children I'm helping raise?
Well, I mean, you're not their mom.
You're their stepmom. There's no
You're
stepmother's
stepmom.
Day, Kim McAllister.
There
There's no
isn't.
stepmother's Day.
I do have a stepmother,
Okay.
and
You send her a Mother's Day card?
I sometimes will get her a gift, or I always call.
Okay.
But I if
Why
I
do you
ha-
call?
Because she's mothered me in this life,
Okay.
and
That's
I
my
want
point.
to respect
You know what I
that.
mean?
But
Right.
but my Mother's Day is spent with my mother. You know.
Yeah. That's what I would say. I think
Yeah.
that I feel like fathers, biological fathers, should always get their kids. I guess if they want to. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're out of town or you don't, I guess that's your prerogative. But I think that it should always be, when you're divvying up the holidays for the
Right.
agreement, like Father's Day should go to the fathers and Mother's Day
Yeah.
should go to the mothers. Figure out
I
Halloween,
mean,
Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all that.
there's probably some relationships out there where the stepmother is more the mother,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And the biological mother maybe has,
Yeah.
I don't know, left the picture or didn't step up to serve in that role. So
Right.
it just depends on the family and what your relationships are with people.
I love Doug. He says, I'm getting chicken enchiladas, rice and beans, flowers, and a card. Meeting at 86-year-old mom's apartment with my 3 brothers.
Aw,
Mom doesn't have to do a thing.
that's
And I'm sure,
nice.
86-year-old mom, you know what she wants? She wants her kids. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I don't know if 86, maybe she is. 86-year-old mom's like, peace out, kids. I'm going to get drunk with my girlfriends. Perhaps. You never know. Susan says, we share part of the day. Me, my daughter, who is a mom and a grandma too. So everyone is thought about to some degree. And I think that that's
nice.
the most important thing. Although there was something that Allegra had said when she was talking about how she wanted to have the day all to herself this year. And the husband looked at her and was like, well, are you going to tell the moms? And this brings me to the other kind of debate that's been going on, which is the role of mothers and this invisible load. It's like,
Mhm.
well, it's Mother's Day. How hard is it? Like, I can tell my mom. I guess I would tell my mom, but like, do I have to tell your mom too? Like, can you not pick up the phone and tell
Yeah.
your mother, Happy Mother's Day? You know what Allegra's going to do today? She's going to just do a
Right.
day of all to herself and take that off of her plate. Because there was this mom that, and wife, I should preface, who is basically saying, I am not going to be my husband's spokesperson. Like, I am not the communication department for our household. Here's a little bit of her TikTok.
So I refuse to be the primary communicator with my husband's side of the family. And I want to talk about this. I got a lot of hate on here about this a couple of Christmases ago, but it came up again last night. So let's chat about it. So a few weeks ago, my mother-in-law was on the phone with us and she expressed that she was like a little bit hurt because she keeps finding out things about our pregnancy from her sister who sees the posts on social media. Now, this was kind of news to me because I thought my husband had been communicating with his mom and stepdad. I didn't know he hadn't been. So we were talking about an upcoming ultrasound last night, and I said, yeah, don't forget to send that to your mom so that her feelings aren't hurt. And he said, why don't you just send it to my mom?
Yep.
And I said, no, sir, it's not my responsibility. I communicate with my side of the family. You communicate with your side of the family. And we had a little discord about this. Essentially, he thinks it's not that much more responsibility for me to tell his mom about it and have a conversation with her about it. And I say, that is not my responsibility. It's your responsibility to communicate that to your people.
So that's basically it. I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but like, so what do you think about that? How is it? And let me know in the comments, how does it work in your house? Because this is what my husband, and I love you, honey. I love you, honey. Okay. But it's always, you got to ask the boss, right? If we're making any plans, not that his mom doesn't call, my husband's mom doesn't call him, but it's always like, well, let's clear it with Nikki. And there's several reasons for this, but one of them is he doesn't like, he's not a good manager of the calendar. So he'll just say yes to things. And it's like, well, did you check the calendar? Do you see? And now he's a grown man. Like, he could do that. And I do share the calendar with him, but it's kind of like, I don't know if she's going to want to do it. I don't know. I'm just going to I'll defer to her decision. So he kind of absolves himself of the responsibility.
Sure.
And so it makes it like always up to me when I don't necessarily want it to be up to me. But I am not, if something happens within the family, sometimes I tell everybody and sometimes I'm like, tell your mom. And I don't get much pushback from my husband for doing that.
Yeah. It's funny how who's the responsible party in the relationship, because my family knows to clear calendar requests with my husband. He's like,
oh, how interesting.
yeah, because I'm horrible. Like, I'll double book, I'll just not be thinking about, like, just
right.
So I'm like, if you make sure that everything's okay, just go through him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's difficult because, I mean, if you could see my calendars between all the kid stuff and my stuff
layered
and my
with
husband,
things.
I mean, it's just, and then things changing at the last minute. And, for instance, my son started taking a fencing kind of mini camp.
That's so fun.
Isn't that fun? So he took it, and yesterday was his first class, but
Yeah.
then all the other kids that were kind of his age were in the Monday class. So now the whole calendar has to be shifted to Monday.
Mhm.
Now, if my husband had taken my son to this fencing class yesterday and they were like, "Hey, can you move to Monday?" I don't know if he would have been able to answer yes or no. Like, not quite sure. I might have to defer to my wife. And that's just because, you know, the woman's,
It's a
and I will be
lot.
kind of not sexist, but the woman's mind does work
Yeah.
like a computer with 50 million tabs open. It's like, hold on, I've got that somewhere over here in that kind of bin.
Yeah.
And sometimes
Not
men
mine.
just don't have it like that. Yours doesn't. Yours is on control alt
Sometimes it's
delete.
all I can do to make it through the day, Nikki. Sometimes I just look at the calendar and I'm like, it's a
Uh,
day by day situation. What do I have today? I have karate. We have band practice. We have
oh, not
studying at
me.
it's a
Oh,
day by day situation. And I look at it and I go, okay, and now I'm prepared for the day. I know that I'm going to have to drive everybody to all these different places.
right.
Tomorrow I'll look at the calendar to start that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mara says it takes 5 minutes to make a phone call versus creating friction by refusing to just let mother-in-law know. Friction for 20 more years ain't worth ignoring a 5-minute phone call. True, but you know who could also relieve that friction is the husband. Like,
Yeah.
he could just take it upon himself. You know, another thing that was said in the interview I did with Beyond Your Wildest Dreams moms is Allegra had said something to the effect of, "I'm actively raising my kids,"
Right.
and I should have said something because literally, Kim, a week and a half ago, I was upset about something and I called my mom. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
remember I was sitting on this bench. I was really, really upset about something. And in the middle, and I was like kind of like teary, right? And then I got even more like sentimental about it because I realized I could call my mom, and I'm going to get like
Right.
all emotional again about it.
Yeah.
Like, I know so many moms or so many women that don't have their mom, and we're very,
Right.
very close. And I remember my mom was kind of laughing at me about what I was upset about,
Hmm.
but she was still comforting me through it.
Yeah.
And then even texted me after, like with some advice. And I don't think you ever stop actively raising your children. I mean, I'm a 40 something
No.
year old woman. I called my 74-year-old mom basically asking for advice, like, and
Yeah.
comfort, and she was there. And that's what gets me on Mother's Day is like, it's not that I don't want to spend it with my mom, but she is still actively raising me. She's
I don't
still actively raising a 40 something year old daughter.
I don't think the relationship changes, but I don't
Yeah,
think you ever stop worrying about your kids or
never.
loving them in that way. And if
Exactly.
once you're in this role, you're in it for life.
And you
Mm.
always, and I kind of, and not that she ever told me, and I would never ask her, but I think she loved that I called her about it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
also being the daughter of a nurse, a retired nurse, like, you're
Mhm.
always like, Mom, like,
Yeah.
what is this thing? I'll never forget my husband. And also being the daughter of the mom, she always jumps to like the worst thing. Well, it could be cancer. I'm like, okay, could it not be cancer? I remember when my husband got shingles, like, which was young for him. He got it
Yeah.
like right after COVID. I feel like it was a COVID thing, like it spurred something in his body or whatever. I don't know. That's not medical advice. That's just my
Mhm.
mind. But I remember I was telling he had just had like these twinges of pain in his chest and back. And I remember I was telling my mom, and she's like, could it be shingles? And I was like, Mom, why do you have to jump all the way to shingles? And then all of a sudden,
And she's
day,
right.
he's on the phone with the advice nurse, and he's like, yeah, there's nothing on my chest. And he had kind of opened his robe, and I just got like a flash, and I was like, wait a minute. And there was like 2 little spots of red, and I was like, she was right. And it was like I had to call my mom and be like, you were right. She's like, I told you. And I'm like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
always that's the great thing about being a mom is you always can rub it in when you're right. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's funny, Ms. Organic. Yeah. How often we call our advice nurse. Exactly.
I have to thank the guys throwing down the Mother's Day contributions to the show.
Yes, Jim with $5.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love it so much. And Harry, 5 for live. Happy
Yeah.
Friday. Yeah, we do
Really
love being
nice.
live. It just so happens to be on Fridays. You know,
Mhm.
maybe that can continue. But again, we really love all of the support that we continue to get on this day and day before Mother's Day and all days.
Yeah.
There was another story that you actually brought to my attention, Kim.
Oh,
And
this lady.
this is
Whew.
this Chinese tech executive. Tell us what she posted on social media that caused so much backlash.
I have to go to the story. This lady is wild. She it's kind of like the Google of China.
Okay.
It's called Baidu is the name of this company.
Okay.
And she posted this diatribe where she basically endorses a toxic work environment, right? And she says, her name is Q Jing,
Okay.
and she's the former now vice president and head of communications at Baidu. And she said in a series of short videos posted last week on what is China's version of TikTok,
Okay.
I would have thought it would have been TikTok, but it's not. It's something called Douyin.
Okay.
She talked about her devotion to her career, strict management style, her demands on her direct reports, and in one video she lashes out against this employee that she has who refused to go on a 50-day business trip during the pandemic,
Oh my gosh.
which is when China was imposing
Yeah.
all these restrictions. She said, "Why should I take my employee's family into consideration? I'm not her mother-in-law. I'm 10, 20 years older than you. I didn't feel bitter about it or tired, even though I have 2 children. Who are you to tell me that your husband can't stand it?" She talked about her personal sacrifices as a working mother. She said she was working so hard she forgot her oldest son's birthday and what grade her youngest son was even in at school. And she says she doesn't regret it because she chose to be a career woman. She said, if you work in public relations, don't expect weekends off. Keep your phone on 24 hours a day and always be ready to respond. And then in another video, she threatened to retaliate against employees who complained about her, saying they wouldn't get another job in this industry. She got fired.
Wow. I mean, I was thinking it was not as harsh as that. Like, if you want to be, so, you know, there's always this like, are you a true feminist if you just want to work at home? Yes. Feminism means you could do whatever you want. If that means staying at home and being a stay-at-home mom, great. If you want to be a career woman, great. This takes it a step further, though.
Yeah.
I mean, she's acting like, yes, you are not somebody's mother-in-law. Yes, if this is what the job entails, you can care as much or as little as you want to, but you are also breeding that kind of environment that often doesn't not produce good results. Like, turnover rates are higher in situations like that and what have you, versus taking care of your employees, then they become loyal to the company that takes care of them. But that's a side note. The fact that you are so dedicated to your career and not your children makes me think maybe you shouldn't have made the choice to have kids.
That's what I think.
Not to dedicate every single waking moment to them and not have a career, but Jesus, that's a bit much.
I do believe that you can have it all.
Yeah.
But when you have it all, you're not going to do it all perfectly because something always has to give.
Yeah.
But for a woman who wants to put her career first and be on the phone or on call 24/7, you know, why did you have kids then?
Well, yeah. Like, if you don't want to be around them, was it just to kind of check a box? Because I want to be, you know, I want to witness my children growing up. I want to give them experiences. I want them, like, for instance, taking my son to try a new sport or whatever, you know, like, I want to be able to do that. And I also want to witness it. I don't want to just pay for a camp and have the nanny take the kid and never even hear about it. Like, oh, check that box, send the kid off to camp, done. Like, no, like, have a relationship, experience things together, make memories together, watch TV shows, go to the movies, go camping, do things with your children, which I think is probably what this employee wanted to do. It's like, I want to have a life in addition to having a career. And, you know, you're absolutely right, Kim. You can have it all, but not necessarily all at the same time, right? Like, your career could be the number one thing that you're working on right now, but then something at home has to be sacrificed. There's only so many hours in a day, and there's only so much bandwidth somebody has. And it's hard. It really is hard when you're trying to balance everything in life.
I don't think this lady gets the Mother of the Year award.
No, not at all. But thanks to Nick for the $25 donation.
What?
Thanks for the live show. Happy Mother's Day, Nikki and Kim. Thank you, Nick. Thank you.
Thank you. It is the Mother's Day show. That's a nice thing. Thank you,
Yeah.
Nick. Yeah, here she is. And it's all about the toxic workplace culture, right?
Yeah.
And so I guess some of her employees were saying, we like the way America does it a little bit better, where this isn't the type of thing that is expected of people
Well,
to put your
I think
entire
in
life
some,
on hold.
I think in some businesses in America it is, right? I mean, I think that especially, and again, I've never worked in the tech world, but I do hear this kind of anecdotally. You're expected to, sleep at the office. Remember Twitter? And
Yeah.
there was a woman that was sleeping in a sleeping bag,
Mhm.
working around the clock, right? So I just think that there's more backlash in America perhaps than in China, where
Yeah.
maybe they value your devotion to work versus your family,
Yeah.
right? So it could be a cultural thing, but I don't know. I mean, and then Lori says, you're assuming everyone has a choice. And I'm assuming you're talking about a choice of being at work or staying home with your kids. I
Right.
think that might be what you're talking about. You're absolutely right, Lori. I mean, some people
Mhm.
don't have a choice. They
No.
have to work 1, 2, side hustle, jobs, you know what I mean, to
Yeah.
make ends meet. You're
Mhm.
absolutely correct. But I think that if you are able to make a choice between work and home, and you're able to have some sort of balance, if you're choosing to kind of move that balance to work more than family, I don't know. It's like, well, that's kind of sucks for the kids. And that's just my opinion, I definitely think that. Oh, Mara says I quit Tesla because it literally became 24/7, even though they gave me stock and company car, not worth it for mental health and
Yeah.
sleep is needed. And now you're hearing what Tesla is doing, laying off people. Did you hear
Mhm.
that once? Just on a side note, this one guy in Sacramento, I was reading I think in the Mercury News or SF Gate, he commuted every day from Sacramento to the Tesla plant to work, and was sleeping in his car some days so he wouldn't have to commute.
Oh
Yep.
no.
The loyalty was not
Reciprocated.
it was not, and he was laid off, and now he has to sell his house. He had bought a house in Sacramento. Now he can't afford it. Like, Oh, Lori says no, having a choice. No, a choice of having a kid or not. Oh, I see what you're saying. I mean, here in America, you have a choice of whether or not you want to have a child.
Well, I
I
mean,
would
what
hope.
do you mean you don't have a choice? I mean, I guess maybe in different cultures, do they force you to have children?
Yeah, I mean, maybe she's talking about, pro-choice versus pro-life. I don't know. Lori, explain a little bit more. I thought you were talking about, the choice of being home or at work. Thank you, Lensman, for the $10 donation. Love the live show.
Aw,
Happy Mother's Day, ladies.
thank
Thank you,
you.
thank you, thank you for you guys
Yeah.
for the donations. We really, really appreciate it and depend on it so
Yeah.
much. Yeah. Karen says, except in 27 states, no abortion, but you should practice taking the pill. Oh, yeah,
Right.
exactly. I was just having this conversation with my kids. We're talking about college and things like that. And my daughter's like, I want to move here. She wants to go to college in Hawaii, Kim, because I mean, who the
Oh,
hell
my
wouldn't
mom
want
went
to?
there.
Did
University of
she?
Hawaii, Manoa. Yeah.
Yeah. So my daughter's like, I want to. Of course. Of
The
course you want to go to Hawaii.
library has the most beautiful ocean view. Yeah.
Really? That's nice.
Mhm.
Well, I told her, I was like, there's only so much money, but whatever. But
Does
anyway,
she want to study marine science?
she just wants to go to Hawaii, Kim. This is the level of conversation that we were
I'm with
having.
her.
Exactly. I'm like, yeah, I want to be on the
I
beach
can
too.
totally get behind that.
I could totally get behind that too. But we were talking about that. I was like, please, and then we were talking about where do you want to end up living? Because sometimes
Right.
when you move to certain areas for college, you stay there or you keep moving around. And I was like, please do not move to a state where you have fewer rights than you do in California. Can we at
Right.
least say that? So
Mhm.
we'll see. Yeah, it's difficult. But I love this Mother's Day conversation because it's one of those things where I saw this one thing that was really funny, that they wanted to move Mother's Day and swap it with Father's Day. Okay. Because Father's Day gets the month of June, when for
Right.
most school's out,
Yeah.
it's better weather, sports are over. How many people, and I didn't even really comprehend this because again, my kids aren't in sports, are spending Mother's Day watching their kids play sports? Because
A lot.
somebody I posted online, like travels, whoever, it was somebody I know on Facebook personally. They're like, anybody, all the travel ball leagues that scheduled games on Mother's Day, I hope they stub their toe or something like that.
Oh.
And somebody was like, oh, dude, you're preaching to the choir. We've been 8 years of spending Mother's Day and Father's Day at the ballpark watching our kids play sports. Now, I mean, if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. It's not a bad thing. But why would they schedule it on Mother's Day or Father's Day?
Well, it kind of shows, though, what being a parent really is. It doesn't matter what day it
Right.
is. You're going to the sports event Teacher Lori
Yeah.
says if someone who wants a career and more gets pregnant in Florida,
Oh, I
nothing's
see.
100% except abstinence. You really have a choice now. They're trying to track you
I
if you stay
know.
pregnant. Did you read
That's
that
true.
story?
Yes.
I hear you, Lori. You're
Oh,
right.
but freedom, right? These are the
Yeah.
states where you have freedom. Like,
Right.
give me a freaking break. I can just
Yeah.
go off on that.
Right.
But yeah, it's yeah. Karen's like, if I was a kid in a game in sports, I would not attend Family First. Yeah. I have a good friend, very good friend, one of my closest friends, and her son is in travel ball. And she actually texted me about Mother's Day and said she has the kids, and I'm surprised that there isn't like some sort of tournament, but
Yeah.
they're probably saving it up for Mother's Day. You know what I mean? Like, I cannot do travel sports. My heart goes out to parents. What a time commitment travel sports is for the family. But if you love it and you find value in it and it's paying off for you, more power to you.
I mean, at the end of the day, Mother's Day really is just another Hallmark holiday.
How dare you, woman?
I know, but you got to do what you got to do. If that means you need to go play sports, if you need to go support people doing what they're doing,
Yeah.
then hope that you get a hug and, you get a happy Mother's Day and maybe someone throws a rose at you and that's all good.
Like, throw roses.
Happy Mother's Day. Got to go play sports.
Ms. Organic, thank you for the $20 donation. Happy Mother's Day. Oh, my dog just got discharged from the
no.
vet day 3 after being attacked by the neighbor's 2 huskies.
Trauma.
He's only a 17-pound Brussels Griffin, and he almost died. Oh my God.
no.
I'm so glad he's home. Oh, I'm so glad your dog's okay.
That's so scary.
That is so traumatic.
Wow.
Happy
I'm
Dog
so
Mama
sorry
Day
that
to you. Oh
happened.
my God, Ms. Organic. I'm sorry,
Oh.
but thank you so much for the donation. I'm so glad he's okay.
Yeah.
As I have my little nuggie behind me, and I keep sending my husband
Poor
all the little
baby.
memes of dogs, like fake typing on the phone, like dog moms count too. Let's get her a gift. Because my dog loves me, loves me, loves me. Yeah, exactly. Karen says, not really. Mother's Day is celebrated internationally. It's not just a Hallmark holiday, Kim McAllister.
Right,
It should
okay.
be every day. But you know what?
Yeah.
I think Father's Day should be too. I mean, I think that dads, even though we were
Yeah.
talking about the mental load and all that kind of stuff
Yeah.
that kind of falls, and it does. It does. I'm not saying it doesn't. Having a good dad in your life, it's priceless. Absolutely priceless. So next month, it's the dad's turn. That's absolutely true.
I've asked for one thing this year.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to get it.
Oh, no. What is it?
I want them to gather together, the kids
Gather
and the
children.
husband.
Okay.
Gather. I want them to gather.
Uh-huh.
And I want them to clean the backyard up and straighten things up back there.
Okay.
So we can open it for the new season. And I want the pool to be cleaned.
Oh, duh.
My-
How hard is that?
That's all I want. I don't think that's happening.
Well,
We'll see.
Hey,
Fingers
you've let,
crossed.
well, now do you have to hire somebody to clean the pool, or is
It's
it able to be done by
technically-
them?
My pool boy is out in the kitchen right now working on something else. But yeah.
Hey, pool boy.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't feel like it's it's gorgeous this weekend. I would want to be
Yeah.
by a pool if I had a pool in my backyard. I've been already barbecuing in the middle of the week, like this week.
Oh,
I had
nice.
burgers. I made my husband start the grill
Yeah.
up. We had burgers. We ate outside. It's been gorgeous this week. I mean,
Yeah.
you really can't beat the weather that the Bay Area has been having. And
Yeah.
so happy Mother's Day. I hope that your pool boy, gets it together and just has that done for you. It doesn't seem like it's that big of a gift. It benefits everybody. Everybody wants the pool to be clean, right? So
Right.
come on. You
Agreed.
could totally do it. You could totally do it. I can't wait to hear on Monday if it actually was done. So fingers crossed for
If
you,
it
my
was
friend.
done, then I'll put pictures up.
Perfect. It's a
Yeah.
nice request. Ms.
Mhm.
Organic says, clean it,
Clean
pool
it.
boy, and a nice tip if he cleans. Hey,
Exactly.
you never know. You never know. All right. Another
That's
big,
funny.
let's go down the list again. Thank you to Jim and Harry. And I don't want to miss any. Hold on. My thing went too fast. And Joy and Nick and Lensman and Ms. Organic. Thank you guys so very much for donating to the show. We depend on you guys to keep this show going. Natalie, good luck. Kim, good luck. Last year I asked in advance for my husband to do the meal planning for the week of Mother's Day. It didn't happen. Just ask for flowers.
Aw,
All
man.
right. Well, I'm going to ask you guys to support the show through our Patreon. This is how we can continue doing it. Just go to thenikkimadoroshow.com, click the Patreon button, and donate whatever you can. It's just a one-time a month donation, and we really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
We also take PayPal as well. Just go to thenikkimadoroshow@gmail.com. Put that in after you hit the send button on PayPal, and we appreciate it so very much. And of course, support our sponsor, Auntie Tabby's Island Flavors. Go to auntietabby's.com, use the coupon code Nick Kim, NIKKIM, and you can buy the guava barbecue sauce, the hot sauces. There's pineapple and hibiscus. It is so freaking good. You won't be disappointed. Everybody that's bought it has been so pleased. So get yours. It is so yummy. You get 10% off every single order if you use the coupon code Nick Kim, NIKKIM. Thank you guys so much. Happy Mother's Day to all of you out there.
Happy Mother's Day.
We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You sprout like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.